Hi, welcome to Wise Guys. Solving number problem 4. In this session, I would like to show you solving a number problem with fraction and looking for denominator and numerator. Let's read the question. I will show you 3 different methods. The question gives us, say, the numerator of a fraction is 8 smaller than half its denominator. And the reduced form of the fraction is 1/6. Find the denominator. You're looking for the denominator. So first of all, read the question. You may feel like, oh, this is very tricky, very difficult question. So let's go over sentence by sentence. The numerator of a fraction is 8 smaller than half its denominator. So let's first, because this is numerator, is top number, denominator is bottom number. That's why we say the numerator we use n, the denominator we use d. That's very easy to see, right? So that's why the fraction, actually the fraction is n over d. This is fraction. N is unknown, d is unknown. Even they are only looking for denominator, but you still need to find what is the relation between numerator and denominator. And also the second sentence, the reduced form of the fraction is 1/6, because obviously we're looking for this denominator as not reduced yet. But after reducing, the simplest form is 1/6. This is 1/6. Right? We can write this one information. But then we still have the first information and the numerator, denominator, how they're related. I say the numerator of a fraction is 8 smaller than half its denominator. So from this sentence, first you got information, of course, because this is a reduced form is 1/6. Obviously, before reducing, the numerator is smaller than denominator. How many smaller? Let's say is 8 smaller than half its denominator. Okay, half means 1 divided by 2, or multiply 1/1/2. So let's do the half its denominator means half its denominator, we say half 1/2 times d, which is half the denominator, half its denominator. The numerator is 8 smaller, so then half. So after you have the denominator, minus 8. This is numerator. So the numerator is 8 smaller than half its denominator. Half its denominator minus 8 is numerator. And then we can put this information into this equation. And we can write these two into numerator equal 1/2, so is 1/2 d minus 8 over d, because we're looking for denominator equals to 1/6. this is the equation. Because after you got this expression, you use 1 over 2d minus 8 to replace n, and the bottom is still d. That's why we only have one unknown. Put 1 over 6 to solve it. How to solve this equation? This looks like complicated. The top is 1 over, has fraction, this is a fraction, but it's okay. The reason is we can simplify this expression by doing cross multiplication, or you can simplify the left side by multiply d to eliminate the d. So let's do this way. So we multiply d, we multiply all this left side by d. So you multiply d to the left side of equation, you need also multiply d to the right side of equation to make it equal. Right? Equation, you can multiply any number, just not equal 0, for any number, positive or negative for both sides, or divided any number for both sides, or adding or subtraction. As long as do the same job for both sides, the equation still equal. After multiply d for both sides, this d with this d cancel out. Then we have 1 over 2d minus 8 equals 1 over 60. Then we move 1 over 6d to the left side. We have 1 over 2d subtract 1 over 6d, and also we did move constant, which is negative 8, to the right side. Once number transfer from one side to the other side, then you change the sign to its opposite. Before transfer is negative, after transfer become positive. Then we 1 over 2d minus 1 over 60. So we got the least common denominator with 2 and 6, which is 6. So we multiply 3 for this one, the bottom, multiply 3 to the top, right? We got the equivalent fraction with 1 over 2, which is 3 over 6. You have 3 over 6d minus 1 over 6d equals 8. And 3 over 6 minus 1 over 6 equals 2 over 6. 2 over 6d equals 8. And 2 over 6 can be simplified to 1/3. That's why you have 1/3 d equals 8. And this situation you can do, you eliminate the denominator by multiply 3, because it's 1/3. I want to solve a d, I multiply 3 for both sides, multiply 3 for both sides to eliminate the denominator. Then you have d equals 24. So the denominator is 24. So you can plug d equals 24 to the equation to check if your answer is correct. So you can put this one, check your work, put the top is numerator. The numerator equal 1 over 2d, half of denominator, half of 24, you got 12. 12 minus 8 is 4. So numerator is 4 and the denominator is 24. The fraction is 4 over 24. Reduced form, you can reduce 4 with 24 by dividing 4 for top and the bottom. You divide the 4, divide the 4, so you got 4 divided 4 equals 1, 24 divided 4 equals 6. So this is the simplest form, is 1 over 6. So this is the first method. Second method, I'd like to show you, let's say, try the second method. Second method actually is guessing and check. So some students, when they learning algebra, they first using guessing and check. So how to do guessing and check in this question? The first sentence say the numerator is the numerator of fraction is 8 smaller than half its denominator, and the reduced form is 1 over 6. This is the key. Reduced form is 1 over 6. So this fraction is 1 over 6, but we're looking for before reducing how to satisfy this sentence. Let's think about before reducing 1 over 6 could be the equivalent with 1 over 6 could be 2 over 12, right? Could be 3 over 18, could be 4 over 24, and 5 over 30. You have many, but you don't know which one is satisfy this sentence. Then you try each of them to find which one is satisfied. Let's say if you try 2 over 12. What the 2 over and 2 and 12 are related, because the first sentence gives us the relation between numerator and denominator. Say a numerator of fraction is 8 smaller than half of its denominator, because this one half of the denominator. Okay, first let's do half. Half of 12 is 6, and then 8 smaller than this one. 8 smaller than this one, because this is impossible, because this is 6, right? How you can subtract 8 from 6? You will got negative number, but this fraction is 1 over 6, is not negative. That's why this is not working. Okay, this one is not working. And the second one, 3 over 18, so half of 18, you got half its denominator. Half of 18, you got 9. Then 8 smaller than half its denominator, so you subtract 8, you got the 1. So this is a 1. Then you have this way, you say, oh, this is 3 over 18. Looks like because it's 3 is not 1, right? Half of 18, you got 9. 9 minus 8 is 1, but now we got the 3. So this is not working as well. This one, we try this one. Half its denominator, you got 12. Okay? And then you subtract is 8 smaller than half of denominator is 12 minus 8. You got the 4, which is exactly on the top 4. That's why this is the answer, right? This is the answer. You may say, oh, maybe another fraction. You can try one more. This is the answer, but you can try one more. 30. Half of denominator, half of 30, you got 15. And the 15 subtract 8 is 7. But now this is 5. So this doesn't work. So only this one works. So the answer is 4/24. But this is not algebra method. This is a guessing and a check. But yeah. The third method, actually, I want to show you, is using two unknown. Even this question is only looking for denominator, right? Denominator. So we still can using two unknown because one is numerator, one is denominator, and this is the simplest form. The reduced form of the fraction is 1/6. Right? The first equation n/d equals 1/6. This is the first equation. The second equation is the numerator of a fraction is 8 smaller than half its denominator. So the second equation you can write it this way. Second equation you write the numerator of fraction is 8 than half, so you have half of denominator minus 8, or this one, this is numerator, so equals n. This is second equation. For setting two unknown, it's easier to set the equation than one unknown. You have two unknown, it's easy to set, but the solving two unknown, we call in this situation linear system equation, we need more skill, right? But here it's not difficult. Let me show you. So you have two equations, solve two unknown. To solve it, you see, okay. First of all, this equation have n on the right side equal 1/2d minus 8. The first equation is n/d is 1/6. This is a fraction form, but this is regular form. So let's simplify the first equation to. Also, you can write in this situation, you can multiply d for both sides because you want to simplify this equation without denominator. So you can multiply d for both sides. Multiply d for both sides. Then you have cancel this d with that d. So you have n equals 1/60. And then you have this equation, the first equation becomes that one. Now, you're working with these two equations. How to working with these two equations? You can see n equal 1/60 and n equal 1/2d minus 8 because n equals n. So that's why from these two equations you have this one. You write this equation together, you write n equals n. You say that's why you have 1/60 equals 1/2d minus 8 because n equals n. This method in solving linear system equation normally we call comparison method. Comparison means you simplify the first equation and simplify the second equation to make same statement. N equals 1/60 and equal 1/2d minus 8. Then because n equals n, you write 1/60 from first equation equal 1/2d minus 8, which is from the second equation. Then you just solve it. Solve this equation, you can move 1/2d to the left side or move 1/60 to the right side. Because the -8 already on the left side right side, we don't need to move it. We just move 1 over 2d to the left side. We have 1 over 6d minus 1 over 2d equal negative 8. But 1 over 6d is smaller than 1 over 6d. So you will got negative number. But it doesn't matter. So you have 1 6d. You convert 1 over 2 to its equivalent fraction, which is 3 over 6. Equal negative 8. Then you can see this one, you got the negative 2 over 6d equals negative 8. And this is simplified to 1 to 3. Then you have negative 1/3 d equals negative 8. And because both sides have negative, you can just cross it. The reason is you can multiply negative 1 for both sides, and you got positive 1/3 d equal positive 8. Then you multiply 3 for both sides to eliminate the denominator. Also you multiply 3 with 8. Then you got the d equals 24. Same. Okay. So this is presented by Wise Guys. Thank you for watching.